Okay, in this very quick video, what I'd like to do is to demonstrate how to create a Ken Burns effect in WeVideo. A Ken Burns effect is basically just using panning and motion across a still photograph in order to create some dramatic effect. So let me show you what I've got in mind here. I've already imported some still photographs into my WeVideo. And I've got two photographs here, the first one and the second one. Now I'd like you to imagine for just a moment that the scenario here is that I want to start by talking about the youth in the area where we've visited, and I want to talk about, the desolate situation of those youth, but then I want to move on to the amazing connections that we make with these people on the ground. So these pictures are going to kind of try to dramatically illustrate first the kind of sense of destitution, the sense of sadness in the locals, but then the sense of connection. So let's just kind of see how this works. All I've done is I've taken my two photos, I've dropped them both into the timeline. I select the first photo, I double click on that, and if it didn't start me off on the animation tab, then I need to click on the animation tab. So I'm already at the start location, and what WeVideo really wants me to do is to just say this is where the photograph will be at the beginning. So at the beginning, I want to kind of zoom in on his face, and I want to be able to see his face. So I set the beginning location and the beginning zoom just by zooming in and out, and then also by changing the position by dragging and dropping. Yeah. Now I click on the end part, and by the end of this, what I'd like to do is to be zooming in to really kind of almost a blurry nothing. Yeah, so that's my end spot. If you want to see how that's going to look in the final version, it's going to be going off like that. Okay, so that's my first picture in this timeline, and I'm going to click Save Changes. Now I want to go to the second timeline, and in the second timeline we're going to be talking about connections. And so in the second photograph, what I really want to do is just pan across these two people so we can kind of see this relationship between the two folks in the picture. So I start off, again, all I've done is I double click on the picture in the timeline. I click on animation tab if it's not already there. I'm going to zoom in on this picture right here at the beginning part, and I want to be able to go from that lady over to then the end part. What I really want to do is to have the two of them showing how kind of happy they are. Okay, great. So now I've got this second bit, which is going to go like that. Okay, so now you can see what the second bit looks like. I'm going to click Save Changes. You could see if I watch the whole thing now, I'm technically done, but since I'm doing all of this fading in and out and I don't like that abrupt transition, I'm just going to do one last thing, which is actually not part of this. I'm going to drop in a blur, and then I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to make that about 3 seconds. Okay, so now what I've got is a slow move over there and a blur. So now we've just created two very quick, simple Ken Burns effects. We've dropped a transition in between, and I think we've got a really nice, dramatic looking visual segment here. We would need to obviously time it out to match up with the audio segment, but we're getting there and we're good to go. So I'll just click Finish, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you have a successful media production project.